Alright, I'm making this video now because I'm now pretty acquainted with the Shengshou 13x13, and I've done a few solves on it. I've done one that was non-stop. I put that in recording, and I'll probably play that at the end of this video. But one main thing I'm going to talk about with this puzzle is that it's got very smooth layers. It does turn well, most of the time. Basically, the inner 5 or even inner 7 layers turn really well, especially the inner 5. So these ones here, the outer 4, but normally the outer 3 can have a problem even when it's like fully aligned. I might put a clip in it for you from the solve of it not going down. Like I can't do an R prime move with the second layer normally. Jesus. Sometimes with the outer layer, with the third layer, but normally it's with the second layer. It's most common. It also has certain problems with carrying pieces over. Like I can do that really easily. Okay, so these are going right there when I do a U prime. Now it's just these two. That can happen. Of course, magnetizing could help avoid that. However, I think it'll still happen. I've even had in the solve an edge carryover. Fuck. Which I've never have happened with the Moyu cube. It'll typically just carry one or two pieces over if I go too far. But normally, yeah, see, that'll happen sometimes, just a little bit. But usually you can just kind of bring them back over. It does feel very different from the Moyu. It feels very... I guess I could say it feels more stable, less floppy. Moyu has definitely like a stretchier feel. However, I still feel more comfortable with a Moyu 13x13. When it comes to turning the puzzle, I can turn most of the time without being scared of edges or centerpieces on the second layer being carried over or something. Whereas this one I'm not so certain whether it's going to or not, especially during the edge pieces. Making edges. So you could probably see in the solve when I'm making edges, especially when I'm doing edge flips, which is like, I'll do something like that. It's hard to do it with a big cube without, I guess you could say, rotating the cube. You do slight X rotation, I guess it would be. You kind of have to like move your hand, like adjust your hands while you're doing it. If you don't have to, that's kind of... I guess suppose you can do it with your thumb, but I don't perform it like that for whatever reason. I've always kind of taken my hands off and adjusted them, and I can do it fine with this thing usually. It's hard to say what's going to be better with magnets. I suppose the Moyu is. However, I do like the feeling of this in my hands. I mean, I can touch... My fingers do go around pretty easily. Let's see how far I can get in the middle of it. I can go a little bit over with my thumbs touching. But I do have big hands. But this does fit really well in my hands, and I feel really fast doing center sometimes, as long as the cube is pretty aligned while I'm doing it. If I have it like tight in my hands while I'm doing center turns like that, I feel okay. It's just mostly edges that are my problem. I'm kind of rambling. Okay, one thing I gotta mention is that, see if I can get it here. Zoom into that. These center edges here, let me zoom out so you can see where it is. These here are a little wider, and here's the center right there. You can see that the center cube, the center piece here, and these do not match up, meaning these are not squares, these are rectangular. I suppose they did that, well, this makes the whole center layer thicker than all these other edge layers. So that's interesting. I'm not sure why they did that. Another, oh, I guess it's not that interesting. Another interesting fact, this cube is, let me zoom back out, I believe they state it's 125, which I'm going to put it here, I'm going to turn it like that, and it does come out to, let me have it flat, hold on. It does come out to 125. Whereas the Moyu, let's put it in the middle here, Moyu comes out to like 135 or 34, something like that. So, I mean, a centimeter is quite a big difference. Oh, another thing is that this is a lot lighter than the Moyu. Like, you can really feel it in your hands. That this cube is a lot lighter. So, that being said, I kind of went a lot of negative things, but positive things, the center layers, especially these inner 5 right here, or these inner 7, really do turn well. It's just, the cube does need to be tightened. It comes a little bit looser than I want. When I got it, it was kind of locking up or popping too much, so I tensioned it. I'm not sure how much I tightened it. It might have been, it was between 45 and 90 degrees. Alright, one thing I forgot to mention, I was like halfway in the middle of scrambling this cube, is that I'm not sure I can get the detail on there enough, but it kind of has like, I don't know if you call it a matte finish, but it's like, if you ever had one of those old Meffert's tiled Megaminxes, or even like, hold on, no, I don't have it here, but when I had, on my cube collection video, when I had those old 4x4s that had Meffert's tiles on them, it's a lot like that, but smoother. So, like, I don't know if they're for grip or not, because they kind of do the opposite with thing. Like, they don't make it any grippier, they actually make it kind of more slippery. But, if that shows up on the camera, that's great, but it's got this finish to it, whereas it's Moyu 15x15. This is a lot smoother plastic. It's just like smooth plastic. Anyway, thought I should mention that. I might show you a little bit of a scramble. Get the camera as close to me as possible, and maybe I'll run into like some catching or popping or whatever. So you do have to be, that second layer is very dangerous, so I'd be careful when doing that. And it does feel like, I do feel, or slash hear, a lot of friction for whatever reason. So maybe that'll go away with time. Anyway, that's mostly scrambled, so... Alright, I did a few more solves on it, 2 to be exact, and the first one was a 2502. I was being really careful when I was turning it to make sure I didn't get any pops or lockups. I did get one pop, but the rest was just mostly avoiding lockups and pops. And so that drastically, not super drastically, but it really helped my time. And then I did a second one, which I recorded, which you're probably going to see. I think I got a 2439. And that solve was good. I feel like I still have trouble, especially when I get to the last 2 centers and a little bit in the edges, but once you get the last 2 centers for whatever reason, I'm not sure. But still, I improved on being able to handle this cube. So with practice, you can handle it, even though it does have some issues. I mean, obviously the Moyu I did too. It was just like the size to get used to. It really just comes down to holding the cube real, like, tight, and especially when you do, I don't know, it's hard to describe. You just kind of have to get used to turning the puzzle, and you get to just turning it more efficiently. So I think I will be able to eventually get like maybe sub 24 or 23 with this cube, especially magnetized. That'd be great. So I'm real excited about it. Christ.
Oop.